Whoa, we're live.
Are
We
you
have
kidding me?
started. There you go.
Oh,
Perfect start.
I completely I have to make a habit every time we start this out of like, oh yeah, shit, I gotta mute the stream. Cause like it's connected with my normal YouTube use. Cause like with when we were on Twitch, it's like, oh, I don't use Twitch a lot. And so it's like, oh, I might just leave it muted. And so now there we go. Okay, I had to navigate so that the UI is in the right place. There we go.
Yeah, you better have it muted.
Yeah.
It's
I,
ridiculously hard to talk with the delay listening to it.
Like I could do probably like a quarter, maybe half second delay. I cannot do a 4 week delay like that. It's not that bad. It's not Twitch bad.
I feel like I could
Uh,
actually end up doing a 4 week delay. Like that's long enough that it's
nah,
like it's not even a
that's just
problem.
background noise. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. There we
So,
go. I accidentally
your
closed live
Santa
chat.
story. We've all been waiting with bated breath.
I know some people have been suffocating, circumcising themselves in order to hear it. I should, with the time period this took place, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, so when I was a kid, okay, for those who don't know, I'm Jewish. Grew up in a Jewish
I
household.
thought you were gonna say I'm
Not
an adult.
uh, It's the children's podcast. No, it's not. No, I'm Jewish, and I grew up occasionally going to synagogue and shit, and like doing the, we did Hanukkah and Passover and all the schmutz and stuff. Um, but the thing was, so obviously I'm also a movie buff, and most of the good movies for the holiday season to get into that, nice festive spirit are surrounding Christmas, which is another nitpick that I have about shit, but I'm gonna digress. So I was watching Christmas movies because they were just on TV, and I eventually got so invested in it, and I was such a young kid that it's like, oh yeah, no, now it's like it's a consistent enough theme. Like there, a part of me believed in Santa Claus to the point where I wanted to like, it was a fun, enticing idea, and I was invested. I believed in it. The thing was, by this time, I was already well into the practice of like, make believe stories in my room where no one was around, and I would never tell anybody about any of them. So by the time I started trying to attract Santa Claus, I hadn't even brought up to my family that maybe I believe in Santa Claus. It was maybe months later, maybe years, that they actually found out, oh shit. Oh, he did, but by the time they heard, I had already stopped believing. But oh my god, I think they thought I was joking for a portion of it. But my sister, like I thought, okay, Santa never seemed to come to my house on Christmas. Um, and so, so I'm like, I will give him the benefit of the doubt that we definitely don't have a Christmas tree. But my sister coming home from school one time, she's a few years older than me. She had this little trinket that was like a decoration someone had put up, but I decided to leave out the shit. It was a little foam Christmas tree that was like it's like one of those 3D effects where it's like one slice this way and the other cross sectioned, and so it like stands on its own. And I thought maybe, just maybe, it's
Score.
crazy enough that it just might work, that this could trick Santa's system, that this could trick him
It's the
into coming. We
trees
don't have a
that
chimney.
attract him.
For To be clear, we do not have a chimney, never have. And so I'm like, I have to think there's some sparkle shit that's gonna, maybe, I don't know, this is the best I got. And so I put down this foam Christmas tree in the corner of my room just so I knew I wouldn't miss it. And so that there would be no questions from anybody. I'm like, this is gonna sound crazy. Also, we're doing Hanukkah. There's no way we can add this in it. I'm not gonna get any help from this for this, so I gotta do this on my terms. I put it in the corner of the room, and eventually, I just concluded, before I knew this word, Oh shit. I guess I don't want to think this. I guess Santa's an anti-Semite. And
Just hates
which is what I
Jewish
ran
people.
with for years on end. That Santa just doesn't like us because we're Jewish. And that eventually I guess I had like conversations with other kids, and it dawned on me that just like, oh, okay. Oh, and then like I
Oh,
went
it's
through the
only
whole
for Christians.
and it's right. It's
He
only
only does
for
that. It's
it's
not
only
that
for
he
the nation
hates
state.
us.
Yeah. Is that he only loves the Christian kids. But yeah. Anyway. Oh, and for anybody who might have this question, who are listening back in the future, no, we didn't do the thing where it was like a gift every day of Hanukkah. That's some rich people shit. We, I think like, I don't remember what I got that year. It was just like some nice little. It was like there was like Oh shit! No, scam caller calling me. There we go. There,
Answer it.
there was like there was something that I what
Lie.
that was Santa going. Hold on, you're shitting on my name
This
here.
is like, yo,
Um,
this is libel.
gonna get sued by the North Pole, but yeah, yeah, I did get something that year. I'm just like, I wonder if just like, there'll be. I wrote down a list of stuff that I thought would be fun for, like probably some Hulk smash fists at some point or whatever. Probably like some Nerf gun, and I put it on a list and I kept it like near the tree, easy to find, to read, to sort out. And then I put the tree in the corner of my room and concluded that Santa's a racist. But
I mean, did you
yeah,
ever think that maybe you just got your letter in too late? Like,
I
he came and he's
I
just like, slacker.
by the
Should have
time
sent it
I got to
earlier.
by the time I got to that line of reasoning, I had already stopped believing in Santa Claus, and so I maybe that would have happened. The thing is, I don't know if you guys have this in the States, but Canada, which was where this took place, this was not in. We had already moved to Canada by this point. Um, Canada actually has, and has probably decades now, a mail-in service where if you put your postal code, because our postal code system, for those who don't know, is letter number letter space number letter number, and the official postal code for sending a note to Santa, sending a letter, is HOHOHO. Kids could just do that, and I think they get a letter back, probably. I don't know. I never tried it,
I
but
know some places do that here.
yeah, it's probably like within your state, if I had to guess.
I think there's like, it's not that like the postal service doesn't necessarily, like, you mail it to a place, like a charity kind of service, if you want to call it that, and then like they'll send a letter back as Santa. But like the mail service itself, I don't think is involved other than getting the mail.
I know that there's someone mentioned, what was it? I remember. Okay, it's like there's a government. there's like a there's a like sector of the government. I don't a division that is like more important than you would guess would be put to this sort of thing. Maybe it's the FBI or something that actually has a website for like Good Samaritan like Americans who can verify that they're an American citizen, replying to kids' Santa letters, just so that like, oh, we don't have to have a whole division of people just to writing these letters. People can give back to the children in this way, especially if like can't afford to give like the kind of gifts you want to give to nearby kids. It's like, oh, they can think that you're Santa, and you can give them a heartfelt message. Probably it's vetted by somebody to make sure that there's nothing nefarious happening in those letters. I fucking hope. But yeah, you could Google around for that. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I mean, we got to keep the illusion of good things alive. It's like when you
Yeah.
write a letter to Obama, we have to keep the illusion that something that good is real.
Obama, like it's a person.
Yeah, Obama's too good to be real. Anyway,
You don't seem like the kind of person who would enjoy Obama's policies. I'm
look,
surprised.
Obama's better than what we got now.
Oh, yeah,
Obama
yeah,
did some
but
good
like
shit, did some horrible
you seem like
shit,
the
but
kind of
that's
person,
presidency.
right? You seem like the kind of person though who'd be like, oh yeah, Obama was better, but like we should shoot higher, and that's what you'd focus on. Yeah.
Look, when we're at the bottom of the shit pile, I'll just go to being on top of the shit pile. Like, don't want
Where's
to be covered in shit.
God damn it, where's Obama?
It's
Just like with your
steps.
head in your fucking hands. Yeah.
No, my favorite thing right after Obama left office, I think he like posted a photo of him like jet skiing or something. And it's just like, I'm glad he's living his best life.
I'm glad that he's basically at this point he like curates, little like what books like in his songs of the year. I like that he does that. I'm sure he does more than that. That's just probably my favorite thing that I know
I
of.
have no idea what he's up to now other than endorsing people every now and then when elections happen.
I don't agree with everything he's ever said, but I do like when I get to hear him talk to somebody for an extended period of time
Yeah.
outside of a like an exclusively political context. Like when he was on with that. I gotta Google the interview, but like he was interviewed by a stand-up comedian, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot he was our coolest, chillest, socially at least, president. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bummer.
now we have the opposite of that.
What's his
You have
name?
someone who you can't understand anything he says.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, both were like that. Both can't. Well, no, sorry, God,
Forget we
in my
swapped
coping, I forgot that
candidates.
Kamala was even fucking there.
Yeah, so did all the voters apparently. Anyway.
Apparently. Also, it was Hassan
Eh,
Minaj. If people want to Google it, put the name in chat. If we have a chat
so
replay.
yeah, Obama.
Obama. Sorry, you put it in your note. What is that word?
So Stranova. This is a third-person shooter, free to play that I've been playing a lot of. It's also a gotcha game. Do you know the concept of a gotcha game?
Vaguely. Isn't it like
So
heavy on microtransactions and loot boxes?
yes. You if so far it seems like if you want to pay to get like a character or something, it's not too horrible. Um, but like getting the skins and stuff, that's all a loot box system, and you pay for rolls of that dice. Not a great system. I don't necessarily like it, but I'm also not spending money on this game yet. So
Is it just like aesthetics, or is there actual functional shit that you get in loot
it's
boxes?
just like aesthetics. Um, there's like some things that are just like there is a functional thing that the only function is for you to get more aesthetics out of it. So I guess it is just all
Okay.
aesthetics.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
which like I'm fine with. I mean, you can purchase the characters, but as far as I know, it's not too bad to purchase the characters. I just know like some skins or like cosmetics for the characters are locked behind that loot box, which sucks because I want them. Um, but yeah, so it's a third person kind of hero shooter where you're choosing your character. They have a specific loadout and specific abilities, and all of them share a common ability, which is stringification. Which sounds a lot
Stringification.
cooler than it is.
Oh,
Stringification is you can like turn into paper. So like you can go flat and then like turn your body sideways so you're much harder to hit.
I mean that sounds super cool. Even once you explain
It,
it.
it is cool. It's also just like once you get used to it, it's just like, oh yeah, you're just turning sideways. The cooler part of it is you can kind of slap yourself like a sticker onto certain walls and walk around the wall. That's the cooler part. So like, oh, you need to get up to this next level, but there's not like stairs and you can't jump up there. You just slap onto the wall and walk up.
Holy shit.
It's a very fun system. It's just an okay shooter. It's fine. I've just been playing it nonstop. It's fairly fun. In fact, right now, I wish I could just load it up and play it right now. I'm like addicted to this game, even though I can 100% with my gaming knowledge go, yeah, this is a mediocre game, but I fucking love it.
I mean, if it's just okay at everything else, but it does this one really cool thing, I can respect that.
It's
Excuse
also
me.
just like a really simple game to play. The skill ceiling is not very high as far as I can kind of tell. Once you get good at aiming, you're kind of done. Like some characters have cool abilities, but I choose the one that can just like slap down their gun onto like a mount so they don't have any recoil, and so like it's just purely aiming at heads. Very fun.
I I mean, I'm looking at a GIF that's on the Steam page here, and one more thing that I don't know if you mentioned about the stringification is like this dude is getting within a gap that like his full size of body would not fit through ordinarily.
Yeah. So there's a
Yeah.
couple parts on the map that let you do that. So there's like these little alleys that if you turn into the paper, you can just go through them, or like a set of bars you can slip through, or like a door that's only kind of cracked open. What the fuck just happened?
What the fuck just happened?
I just heard a crack behind me.
That sounded like wait, hold on. Nope. There we go. Okay, close enough.
No clue what that was. Um, but so yeah, you can like do that. Also, if you like go paper in midair, you kind of like glide while paperified.
Oh, is it like you float down like a feather, or is it like a hang
It's
glider?
more like a hang glider type situation.
Hell yeah. Do you like spread out, or is it just like the same pose? Because it looks like it's adapting the same pose when he's going through the gap.
It's like you kind of like splay out, so you have more surface area to the air.
Mm-hmm. It feels a little bit like the last Airbender, the fucking thing that you put on your back. Well, it's part of his baton, I think, right?
Something like that. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I've apparently
God, I
played
love.
7.5
Yeah.
hours of Strinova, and I'm gonna play more.
Jesus.
It's a
When did
fun
it come
game.
out?
Like a week or something ago.
Damn.
Let me go to the store page. Why does it say I'm offline?
It feels like the kind of game where I'd go around and like shoot for self-defense, but like then I'd want to focus on the stringification part, but then I get so distracted by how cool it is that I get distracted from the actual game part. I can only really focus on one
November
at a time.
21st. So yeah, like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah. I hope people are enjoying it.
It's very fun. I recommend it. It's like the gameplay is just super simple in terms of like the actual gunplay. It's not like a Call of Duty or anything like that.
Yeah, because that's at least the way that I treat Counter-Strike, where I have fun with it because it's just, oh, I treat it as you go around. You know how to reload, but you probably shouldn't, and and you shoot as many people as you can for as long as you can until they die.
Yeah, I mean that is certainly a way to play Counter-Strike. I don't think
I'm
that
not
is
saying it's the best way.
necessarily the
I'm
the
just
way
saying
they
it's
intend for you to play Counter-Strike.
I'm just saying it is game compatible with that play style, and I get when I'm in a good flow, I get a reasonable amount of kills. Still die a whole bunch. I assume that happens to most people. Probably less if they do it the way intended. But yeah, I like a game where you can keep it simple.
Yeah, and I mean all of the so it's like a gotcha game, like the Genshin Impact, and most recently like Zenless Zone Zero, and so it's all
Mhm.
hot anime women too. So that also helps.
Sure, sure. Anime cells. I wonder how many people are gonna cosplay as like from this game, or is it like is it one that is like sat on a bunch, not sat on, slept on a bunch,
I mean,
or
it's
is
only
there
been
gonna be
out
like
for
a
like a
whole bunch?
week and a half, so I don't know
Yeah.
how many people are actually playing this. I wonder, SteamDB, do they have SteamDB? And then Strenova. Oh, come on, SteamDB, you can load faster than this. Let's see. It says 14,000 people are in the game right now. So, decent chunk of people.
Fantastic. Is there any cell
Let's see.
shading in it? Because I couldn't make it out from the screenshot.
Kinda.
Not
It's
really.
just like, it looks like an anime game. If you want to call that
Sure. Yeah.
cell shading, then go ahead, I guess. It is
It's just
crazy.
I'll
Counter-Strike almost has a
yeah.
million players right now.
Concurrent?
Yeah.
1,000,000.
And well, 994,000.
Close to fucking up. Okay, because that's the kind of like that's the kind of concurrent play count I would only really expect of like I don't know evening later in the day when like people are like home from work. I didn't know there's a whole million people who would have Counter-Strike time on their hands right now.
I mean, I wonder how many people like have it. Let's see. Well, all-time peak that they
4.2
had was
billion.
1.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably when it had just come out. It has 7.3 million positive reviews and 1.1 million negative reviews. Owner estimations, depending on who you ask, it's anywhere between 100 million and 300 million people have this game.
Holy shit. Almost a third of a billion people is the estimate for how many have this game.
It's a popular game.
Yeah.
I wonder how many
Is that
people. So PUBG has 296,000 people in game right now. Let's see. So anywhere
which is still
between
pretty generous.
50 million and 115 million, depending on who you ask, own PUBG. Should play PUBG again.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Steam
Like,
DB episode.
yeah.
We're just gonna look at Steam database.
God. Because like I actually there's a lot of assumptions I've made across gaming. Wait.
Yeah. We alive?
I believe so. I'm good. Sorry, just had to take care of something real quick. But yeah, there's a lot of assumptions that I tend to make about how simple an experience you can make um, any specific shooter, for instance, because I'm used to people raving about like RPGs where you can do 1,000 things, and like I guess I assumed that PUBG has a lot more of those functions, or at least that you're like supposed to path things out a little more, even if like literally the controls are a lot simpler than that.
What do you mean pass things out?
Like in terms of you're supposed to like take cover around this kind of place at this kind of time. It's generally better to not hang around this area as much as this area. Because like most of
Yeah.
the times that I've gone into a battle royale of that kind, someone's been like, "Oh, don't land there, but do land here, or like in this kind of area." And also,
Yeah, I
this
mean,
is
you
the
don't
kind
want
of
to
thing
just
you
be
want to
like
be
out in the
cautious of.
open and shit.
Yeah, yeah. And that's like it's a lot to keep track of, whereas with something like a Counter-Strike, it's like, yeah, there's open area that you can be in, but generally it's like more narrow, you'd expect.
Yeah, it's not as big of a map for sure. I would say like the core principles still kind of apply for the
Okay.
sharpshooting. I mean, Counter Strike has a ton of information that you need to understand to be able to play well at that game, and I don't play well at that game.
I
I
just
mean,
adjust my expectations. That's
yeah,
really it.
it's like
Like
you
I'm
need the
willing,
map
yeah.
knowledge, you need not like being able to hear what's around you and work well with your team, like hearing the footsteps or hearing that somebody's reloading or they're scoping in or something like that, and you can like pinpoint where they are from that sound. And it's a lot, and I feel like I have good game sense. Like I can figure out what's happening, but like my skill level of actually executing on what I need to do, very low.
And how are your like
Not very good at
reflexes in
that.
that department as well?
I have no idea because I feel like I'm pretty good with reflexes, but I feel like every time I play Counter-Strike, somebody walks around a corner and I'm dead before they reach around the corner. So I don't know. Like their reflexes are
'Cause,
something
yeah,
else.
I God, I because it's like with a game like Counter Strike, and I'm gonna make a weird comparison here. It's vaguely like Monopoly in my head, where hear me out. Um, I just well, it's all about adjusting expectations. It's like what I expect versus what's gonna drive me fucking insane. Is like I can die 1,000 more times in Counter Strike than in most other games without really being bothered by it, just because it's like, oh, this is one of those games where it's like super try hard. Whereas with Monopoly, the comparison there, like there are simpler tabletop games that I'm like, oh, this has like a reasonable floor of like for like having a consistent good time. But Monopoly is like you're gonna get invested or you're gonna get fucking crushed depending on who you play with. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of games, Marvel Rivals is 2 days away.
I keep forgetting it hasn't already come out.
Yeah, coming out in 2 days.
How do you feel about what you've seen?
I haven't seen a lot recently, but I mean, I'm always hyped to try new games, especially when they're free to play. And so,
It's free to play.
I,
I didn't know it was.
yeah, I think it's gonna be free to play.
So it looks like I'm gonna have another game that I'm going to be playing for a, for a good while.
Marvel Rivals monetization.
Because you slap like familiar branding on something and a game like in a game what is it? A game genre that is like within what I'm already vaguely familiar with as like an access point, I'll probably gravitate toward it.
So apparently from a dev diary tomorrow, um, which is
Okay.
strange that it says it's or well, maybe that was, when did they announce this? Maybe it's just like backwards of how they're doing it. It says 12/5, but maybe it means May.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but it says Marvel Rivals is free to download. Heroes, maps, and other gameplay elements are completely free.
All right. What do you pay for in that game?
Cosmetics.
Yeah, that's fair. Thing is, in a game like Marvel Rivals, okay, actually, I was gonna say that I would want to probably stick to a default skin anyway, just because that's how I'm familiar with them being. Because games like Spider-Man, for instance, you start in about what you expect Spider-Man to be wearing. There's like classic ones you can get, but like most of the suits that you like buy with whatever points you earn in there are suits that you like the average person wouldn't look at and go, oh, that's Spider-Man. But it's inspired by the general design. I have a feeling for something like Marvel Rivals, it's already a certain amount, not too much, but a little bit detached from what you'd expect of the character, and then you can buy the classic version and then also other fancy versions. Do you think that matches it?
I mean, I would say for like superheroes in general, I think you're going to want a lot of the different kinds of costumes
Mhm.
because they have so many iconic looks.
Yeah. Also, like,
I'm just
I'll
like going through
say
the characters now. Also, can I not just like see a huge rundown of all of the characters in this fucking game, please? There we go. I
when I
mean,
first got,
I'm gonna
yeah,
need every skin for Jeff the Land Shark. Like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
what? You don't know Jeff the Land Shark?
I absolutely don't. Well, actually, now I'm thinking I might remember the name, but I don't know anything about him.
I don't remember what his story is. I know I loved it though. It's very silly. I'm gonna need every outfit for Squirrel Girl. Are you kidding me?
How many fucking characters does Marvel have that are just supposed to be like the silly thing that writers throw stuff at that they want to try but don't want to invest other heroes in?
There's gotta be so many.
We know there's Deadpool, kind of, because people do get invested in Deadpool, but still, there's Deadpool, there's Squirrel Girl, there's Howard the Duck, now there's the one you just said. I'm probably forgetting a super obvious one.
So, roster rundown for Marvel Rivals. We got Adam
Yes.
Warlock, Black Panther,
Okay.
Captain America, Doctor Strange, Groot, Hawkeye, Hela, Hulk, Iron Man, Jeff the Land Shark. I love that his name's just really long like that.
I couldn't tell
He's
if you were
not just
fucking with
Jeff,
me.
he's Jeff the Land Shark.
Yeah.
Loki, Luna Snow, which I don't really know much about her, Magic, which I don't know much about her. Magneto doesn't look anything like Magneto. That's definitely a character you're going to want to buy a skin for.
Okay.
He's like white armored instead of like those like purples. I don't know, he's like white and red. He's strangely, it looks cool, just strange.
Well,
Mantis,
there's already a Strange. Yeah.
Moon Knight, Namor. We got Penny Parker. I didn't even know that.
I didn't
Psylocke.
realize that a hero shooter would have this many characters. This feels more like the lineup of I guess like more Marvel versus Capcom or like a Mortal Kombat-esque.
I mean, I feel like Overwatch has a ton of characters.
I just lose track of how many characters are in Overwatch because it felt like there was just, I don't know, 7.
I mean, maybe originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rocket Raccoon, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl, Star-Lord, Storm, the Punisher, Thor, Venom, and the Winter Soldier.
How many fucking characters does Overwatch have at this point?
Let's see. Overwatch.
Even of like added ones, I only know of maybe 3 or 4. And you just listed like what, 1 or 2 dozen for Marvel Rivals? Not saying it's a bad thing to have more choices. I'm surprised.
Fuck, I can't do this math in my head. It's like 29 characters. For Marvel Rivals, let's see. Overwatch 2. We have Ana, Ash, Baptiste, Bastion, Bridget, Cassidy, Diva, Doomfist, Echo, Genji, Hanzo, Alari, Junker Queen, Junk Rat, Juno, Kiriko, Lifeweaver, Lucio, Mauga, Mauga, Maga, Mai, Mercy, Moira, Orisa, Farah, Ramatra, I don't know, Reaper, Reinhardt, Roadhog, Sigma, Sojourn, Soldier
Sigma!
76, Sombra, Symmetra, Torbjorn, Tracer, Venture, Widowmaker, Winston, Wrecking Ball, that's his fucking name, and Zarya, Zenyatta. That's a ton of fucking characters right there.
That's
1, 2,
almost
3,
40
4,
characters
5,
you just
6.
named if my count is correct. And unsurprisingly, I have just been completely out of touch past like, I don't know, what, 6 years ago, maybe more, from the Overwatch canon.
Yeah, this is a ton of characters. What's
The last
another
one
like
that I
hero
knew
shooter? Hero shooters.
the last
Like,
Overwatch characters that I was like specifically familiar with were like, I don't know, maybe under 10 other than like So the original ones and past that under 10, and specific like newer ones than that are the lady with like the glowy green fingers, and the guy that feels almost within the same town as Craven.
Yeah, I didn't know half the fucking characters I just said. I've not kept up with Overwatch. I only played Mercy. So and I mean, we have Valorant, which is the CS:GO or CS2 hero shooter, which has Brimstone, Phoenix, Sage, Sova, Viper, Cypher, Reyna, Killjoy, Breach, Omen, Jet, Raze, Sky, Yoru, Astra, KO, I guess is how you say the name, Chamber, Neon, Fade, Harbor, Gecko, Deadlock, ISO, Clove, and Vice. I think that's almost as many as Marvel Rivals is coming out with.
Wait, so what was the name of that one?
This is Valorant.
That's Valorant. Okay, I'm like, some of those names sound familiar, but I missed the name. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't even. Apex Legends, how many do they have? Apex Legends character count.
I remember the twice that we played Apex Legends.
It's a fun game. I feel like
I
too
don't-
many good players play it now. I played again recently and couldn't do shit.
Yeah. Is actually, speaking of which, there's something that I get curious about in gaming, and I want to know if you have any insights on this, or if this is more just like a thing devs would know about. In terms of like a multiplayer game, especially one with PvP in it, like, what would you say is like in your opinion, is the best way to solve the problem of you want people to be able to get really fucking good, but you also don't want the newer players, especially people less experienced in gaming, to just feel completely shut out from it? But you don't want to like shut them away from
You
each
have
other.
activated an anger within me about the gaming industry. So
All right.
we have solved this issue, and yet,
Okay.
so okay, we've solved it for a very specific kind of game, for a shooter, and it was the original Titanfall. Titanfall 2 fucked it up. The Titanfall 2, great game, multiplayer was fucked up by this decision. So Titanfall 1, their multiplayer was plagued with a controversy of the Smart Pistol. Do you remember the Smart Pistol?
I remember the name.
So the Smart Pistol, it's a pistol that in the very center of your screen is a small box. If you keep an enemy within that small box for long enough, it'll just kill them. And it's like, I don't know how many seconds. Let me look up.
Oh, it had some cooldown, is what you're saying.
Smart pistol, let's fictional firearm, yeah, Titanfall, okay. Characteristics. In Titanfall, a smart pistol, despite being handguns, consumes the player's primary weapon slot. So yeah, you don't have a primary weapon if you have the smart pistol, it is your primary. The gun locks onto targets automatically when aimed, requiring little in the way of careful aiming, quote unquote. I don't know who we're quoting there. It's not telling me how long it takes. I want like the statistics on this. Smart pistol aim time. Not Cyberpunk. Titanfall. Didn't know there was a smart pistol. I mean, it makes sense there's a smart pistol in Cyberpunk. Let's see. MK6, is that the one I want? There's two versions of the smart pistol in the original Titanfall. One that's balanced and one that's bullshit.
Okay. Well, because like
Smart
the
pistol only
primary
has
way I
one
could
spare
see
magazine
balancing-
for a total of 24
Yeah.
rounds, so it has 24 rounds total. Lock-on speed is governed by both distance from the target and the distance of the target to the center of the lock-on reticle, the square in the middle of the screen.
Which feels like most shooting in the first place, but I get what you mean.
I think they're talking about Titanfall 2. I want the original, please. To replace, okay, yeah, no, MK5 is what I want. It will lock onto the enemy's head and chest. Takes 3 locked on hits to kill a pilot, which is another player. Come on. Give me like statistics. Oh my god, this wiki's fucking useless.
Is it like from a wiki.net, or is it like just you found
It's
it
like a
somewhere?
fandom wiki.
Or yeah, that's what I meant, fandom wiki.
Sure, it can give me the reload time, but not the lock-on time. I mean, I guess it is variable, but like average, it. Wait. Oh yeah, and if the enemy player is cloaked, it takes longer to lock on. Can I Control F lock on time?
I
By
thought you meant
default,
Control
20
F
meter
is
lock on
the
range.
yeah.
It takes 0.3 to 0.6 seconds per lock on, and it takes how many lock ons to kill a pilot? Three locked on hits. So a second and a half to 2 and some seconds to lock on to kill a player, which I think makes this one of the best balanced weapons for somebody who can't aim very well, whether that be
Mhm.
they're bad at the game or they just physically can't do it. And like that is more than enough time for an aware player to look around and be like, oh shit, there's someone aiming at me, let me kill them with my faster weapon. But people pissed their pants, people cried and said it was cheating, it's just aimbot, it's not just fucking aimbot. And we had the solution. Titanfall is one of my favorite games because of the smart pistol. The smart pistol is so fucking fun. Also, everything else in Titanfall, amazing. The wall running, the vertical, fighting of everything. The Titans were
It even
cool.
looks cool. Yeah.
One of my favorite games, and with the smart pistol, which especially at the time of me playing, I was not very good at first person shooters. It allowed me to be competitive in that game. It allowed me to have fun and contribute to my team.
And people
But
better at
people,
the game were kept from like abusing it, because you said there was like a kind of short cooldown time. You were talking about adding up to the amount of seconds.
yeah. So to kill a player, you have to have 3 shots locked on that can take anywhere
Right.
from a second and a half to a bit over 2 seconds, which is a long
Right.
time for a shooter. I ideally I think like what's a time to
Yeah, because like one
kill.
Mississippi, two
Um,
Mississippi. I think I've been killed in a tenth of that in many shooters.
let's see, what's a good time to kill? Oh my god, I don't care. Just give me like a decent estimate. Fastest time to kill weapons in Warzone. It'll at least give me. Yeah, look, everything is calculated in the milliseconds. And so it takes a decent amount of time. It takes a decent amount of genuine skill to be able to aim at somebody for that long in general, especially in
Yeah.
such a fast paced game like Titanfall. That I think, yes, you don't have to be as good at aiming to actually get a kill. And a lot of people are mad at that. But the amount of time it takes to get that kill more than makes up in balance. Like, I was not out there just ruining lobbies with the smart pistol in Titanfall
Hmm.
1.
And it'd probably be a
It
little difficult
also,
too.
everybody had access to it. It was unlocked from the beginning. If the smart pistol was the best weapon in the game, everyone would use it. And if you played any game of Titanfall, not everybody used the smart pistol. In fact, very few people did, because it actually wasn't that good of a weapon. It just gave the worst players a bit of an advantage in terms of they don't have to aim as well. But if
And
you
I
can
do
aim
think that
very
there was,
well, the
yeah.
smart pistol does nothing for you.
I think there's a certain also of course amount of elitism, and like not just like, oh, they misunderstand it, think it's too OP, but also, hey, I had to get good and fucking be in lobbies with people, tear me down and shit in order to, get good at video games, in order to play with these people and not be constantly killed. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps kind of mentality, instead of,
Yeah.
I don't know, opening up gaming to like people who don't, like, who either don't have the time to get better at it, Or I don't know, you just want a fun time with people quicker than that, and what people
I
are
think
playing that looks fun to you is this one.
if you're mad that the smart pistol is OP in Titanfall 1, and I keep saying that because I'm going to get to a different point about Titanfall 2.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think the smart pistol Mark 5 in Titanfall 1 is overpowered, then you're not actually good at the game. Sorry to burst your bubble. If you were good at the game, you would never get killed by the smart pistol because it takes so fucking long to lock on. You would be able to look around and see that you're being aimed at. But that's just my take. Now, Titanfall 2 fucked it up. And also Titanfall kind of fucked it up. I think there is a version of the smart pistol in the first one that is like double the speed or something, which is ridiculous, and that's too much. People still didn't tend to use it because you still could kill faster with the other weapons, but it did unbalance the smart pistol, in my opinion, a little bit too much. Not enough to ruin the game, but now Titanfall 2 comes around. The smart pistol is a level 50 unlock.
Oh.
It is not something given to every player immediately. And I think it is equivalent to the upgraded version from the first game. That's not fun. Like we had solved the issue of people bad at shooters bringing their team down by boosting people who are bad while not giving good people overpowered weapons. It was a genius level of design there, and we just threw it the fuck out because people bitched and moaned. I remember, so Titanfall came out when we were in high school, the original. Yeah. I remember having an argument with somebody about the smart pistol in the lunchroom, and I will remember it for the rest of my life because I won so easily for that argument because they made an argument that made no sense if you played the game. I don't remember what the argument was, but I remember all I could react with was, "Have you played the game?" And they said no.
Yeah, this sounds.
And it's like, okay, then shut the fuck up. Like it doesn't even bother you.
Yeah, this is starting to inch closer. I was thinking to like those conversations where it's like this person does not play video games, but they wanted to be included in the conversation and only saw people arguing and thought that they.
Yeah, they just saw somebody get mad at the smart pistol. And they're like, it killed. I think their argument was something like, oh, the smart pistol could kill faster than like whatever MP5 equivalent or whatever in the game, which is just untrue, markedly untrue. And I think that's what I was just like, you haven't played this fucking game because it takes so long to get a kill on the smart pistol. Every other weapon is better than the smart pistol.
God, I'm fascinated by that. But yeah, it's also super fucking frustrating.
Yeah, people are ridiculous.
Very well, especially.
So we have to figure out ways to give, the worst players a boost, and not every game necessarily needs to be like that, but like especially team shooters like Titanfall. We need to find ways to give the worst players a little bit of boost, make them a little bit more competitive in general lobbies, while also not giving a boost to the best players and just changing how the ceiling of skill is there.
Yeah.
And like I've gone over, smart pistols, one of the best, if not the best way we've done it in gaming so far. And people were just too fucking mad to allow it to continue. Now we don't even have Titanfall anymore. We just have Apex.
And Apex has a perfect smart pistol. No, but God, because like for people who are newer to gaming or just generally less skilled with it, it's like, oh, you have easy mode in a story-based game, You have creative games like Minecraft and Roblox, building stuff and, focused more around other things than PvP. But like, yeah, I think it's just shooter games and just general games that focus around PvP could use a lot more work in terms of making them comprehensive and accessible to, I mean, for that matter, not even just people who don't have the time to get better, or it's like they want to have fun with these people but don't want to have to put in the work to get like absurdly good with the Counter-Strike lightning reflexes in order to get by in it. Lest we forget, disabled people play these games, and probably a bunch of them eventually get to a certain level of like reflexes and skill, but it's like they're working with different tools, both in themselves and likely in what's in front of them, because there's like the controllers that are catered to like people with disabilities. I know Xbox has this, probably PlayStation has a similar thing, and you want them to be able to play too. And this is just one little piece that could have helped it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's
people
basically
want to
it.
piss their pants. They all think they're going to be esports, but the athletes, whatever you want to call them, players, I guess. It just seems
Yeah.
esports players seems weird. Um,
I would call it a sport. Yeah.
yeah, but it's like not every match of Titanfall needs to be an esports level event, you know.
Of course not. Yeah.
So
It's like,
people are just
you know,
too prissy about their perfect little games, and it's like, how about we play this for fun? What if
by
crazy idea
you know,
we enjoyed things?
by your experience, I'm actually curious. How many games have like a separate system, like a separate, let's say, server or part of the game for like people who maybe are getting reasonably good, but they're only really intending to play it recreationally and aren't going crazy with it, and then a place for like people who are uber tryhards that want to be esports
I mean,
athletes.
most games do have a ranked feed you can go into, and so that's like people who genuinely want to get good at the game, and only really are focusing on the getting better and better and better as opposed to just playing casually. So most games have that. I would say it's an unsolved problem still.
Yeah.
It's difficult because you can only know how good people are by a limited amount of statistics, and so funneling them into different kind of matches with people who their statistics line up with, of just like, oh, they're pretty even in terms of skill, it's a difficult task, especially when some people might just make a new account every now and then
Yeah.
and ruin it. So
And then just blitz through a fucking beginner lobby. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, there's probably people who do that just for fun, just to get a little
absolutely.
thrill out of the power. Yeah. Yeah, I remember especially like back when Lone Echo was not Lone Echo, Echo Arena was around, the multiplayer version of that game. Um because that's like a game that's real fucking hard to get really good at, especially because it was an exhausting VR game. It's not only that you have to have reflexes and an incredible amount of spatial awareness, but you also like you're using your actual literal physical body to make your way around the entire thing. And you only had like some itty bitty rocket boosters for the most part to like correct your path a little bit, and supplement your movement. Other than that, just flailing your arms around, it's a game that was really hard to get good at. But then just like I coasted with like a better team. I didn't get in their way. It's just I was like, oh, I am with a bunch of people who are really good at this, and I just need to stay out of their way. And it was like fun to like they were like, happy to have comers tag along with them, and as long as they weren't going to get in the way and be like, hey, we're going to be doing a lot more than you in a shorter amount of time, but if you want to, if it comes your way, help us out. Yeah. And it's like, but do know that you're going to be ranked with higher level players if you stay with us, and so you're going to have a much fucking tougher time down the line. So like they had that little warning, but yeah, so it was like just already putting us like a really fucking high ceiling through the ceiling. But yeah, it was a fun experience. It was just different than like actively playing a game. I don't remember the point I was trying to get at with that story. It was just kind of fun and whimsical.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good time. I never played much of that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
One
I
game,
played
one
more
VR
of
game I
it.
kind of want to play. Let me see if I can. It's Underdogs, I think. Yeah, Underdogs. You are in this kind of like a mech, and so you're like controlling the mech's arms and like doing like dog
Ooh,
fighting shit
that
with
sounds
like
fun as
other
hell.
like robots and shit. It's really cool.
I
I was about to say it's on sale right now, but I think the autumn sale just ended. Yeah,
God,
literally ended like an
I
hour ago.
speaking of VR games, I want to say, I want to give a little shout out to like how much of a, I don't know if I've just been missing it until recently, but it feels like there's been more fully like fleshed out, at least for what they're intended to be, video games within just VR chat that you can access for free, just finding
Yeah,
them, searching for them, or in the popular list. Um, there was like one that came out recently that was more fully fleshed out, that had like a story to it, stretched across like multiple worlds in VR chat, because you know you can't load too much at once. Even you don't want to, even on a PC, do that necessarily. I was on the Quest doing it and it ran fine. uh it's quite an advertised thing on there. I know it had a bunch of like red mechanical shit. You can find it. It was in 3 parts. It's not hard. um there's that, which I haven't played much of, just basically the intro, and it just felt like a fully fleshed out, legitimate video game, rather than just like, oh, people were playing around with stuff you could do with the mechanics of VR chat. No, they adapted that to an idea for a thing they wanted to do. Um, the one that I have played a bunch of, though, which another improvitar, Ghosty, introduced me to. Thank you, Ghosty. If you listen back to this, um, was the jet ski. I was thinking Jetpack Joyride for the name. I don't think it's Jet Ski Joyride. I think it's something. It had jet ski in the name. I'm getting bad with names right now, but it's really easy to find as well. And that is the most. That was the first example I'd ever seen of a game in VR chat that seemed like it just fully took advantage of the graphical fidelity that the 3D modelers and designers involved in it were capable of putting into a game. Not this is meant for VR chat, but VR chat systems were adapted to do this, especially because it has probably better reach in VR chat, and it's also more accessible. You're launching something that's not an independent app that you're probably already going into for other reasons. There's a lot of reasons for making a free game to want to put it in VR chat if you can. But yeah, so I go in there and like just race jet skis. It's a lot like Mario Kart. It's got a fluid simulation for the water that is much better than I expected it to be. No, I definitely took you to it for a few rounds
yeah.
some months ago, and I love it so goddamn much. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think this is about our time.
Oh, okay. You want to cut it off here? Sure. Happy holidays, folks. We'll be meeting again. How many times before Christmas, New Year's? A couple times. Oh my
Yep.
God, I forgot we have a thought bubble on Christmas Day. That's 3 from
Yeah.
now, folks. Yeah.
That's our
Holy
present.
shit. That's the present that we get from you guys, and that's the present from us to you, hearing us blabber on about stuff we give a shit about. And I'm excited because also we're gonna give like a full recap of our yearly stuff and how far those have gotten. I got some juicy shit.
Hell yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see everybody next time.
Have a lovely time.